Aloha, beloved Ascension Pioneers. Again, welcome to my sacred mountain space. And as always, I'm guided to record something for Ascension Pioneers for all of us out there. And it will be on nature retreats, mountain gatherings, and the beauty of pristine nature, the sacred spaces that surround us, and us being so blessed by it. So, in case you don't know, I've been treating myself to another retreat for going to the mountain space for 2 days. This is my second day. I've been recording something the first day, but I feel it just didn't come out right. I want to do it all over again. And today the weather is more sweeter, nicer. Just the weather forecast was a bit mixed up. So yesterday I hiked this tall mountain peak. I climbed, up the peak, and then I was returning by another trail. And then I wanted to sleep over outdoors again. And it was funny because I said maybe I'll just go home, I don't know, the weather was something in the middle. It was actually nice, but I thought maybe they said the next day will be cloudy, but somehow I listened to my gut senses, and just by returning, I saw this wooden mountain lodge, like this one I'm staying at now. It's like this wooden lodge. And I said, wow, this could be a perfect space for me. It's so still and nobody sees you, and no one's there. And the mountain lodge, the official one, was a little more, down there. And I don't know, it just felt, I'm just gonna stay. So I went to my car, reparked it, and then I brought all my sleeping gear and everything there to the house. And there was like this feeling that something's gonna happen, and it did. Obviously, there was an animal living, under the rooftop of that wooden lodge. This happens quite often to me, I think. And it made so much sound and was jumping, and I said, oh my god, I can't sleep here. I dozed off, I took a nap, I was looking at the stars that just started showing in the sky. The sky was actually clearing out. And all of a sudden, I woke up, and the animal was just so loud, jumping and on the roof. I don't know what was happening, and making weird sounds, so it felt a bit weird and scary. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be here, because the whole night I'm going to be like this, like an owl. I'm sharing this with you so we know what can happen when you're just following the flow, when you just go, and you just stay on your course without thinking ahead. This is what I'm practicing in the mountains. This is what mountains can give you. And then I just went to my car. I didn't know what to do. It was like 11 p.m. And I said, I'm not going home. I'm not driving now in the middle of the night. I'm just going to sleep in my car. I've never did this before since I have this car. And somehow I managed to squeeze in. And it was quite nice. When I look on top, I saw the stars through the window of my car. And it was just so beautiful. And I said, wow, you wanted the view with the stars, now you have it. So I woke up in the morning. The sky was crystal clear. They mixed up the weather forecast for both days. And this happens a lot. And I'll share this with you when I start talking about more what's happening with the mountains and the sacred mountain retreats. But the thing is, it's very much unpredictable what is happening, and you really have to stay in flow, and you have to be very observant. You gotta listen to your intuition, because somehow I felt that today's gonna be a nice day, and it's sunny, and it's really nice. So I returned from that hill, when I brushed my teeth there in nature, and I just drove off, came down to the valley, and I thought I'm gonna go to another place that's just opposite to this one that has this nice river valley. And I was just driving, and I saw this sign, red sign, for a certain location to go there, hiking. I was like, yeah, why not? I want to go hiking. I have so much energy lately. I just couldn't believe that I was hiking the peak yesterday. I was climbing it so fast, and I felt so energized. And even when I was returning, I thought I wasn't so much in the mountains this year. So I thought I'm not so much in shape, but obviously I am. And I really have so much energy that I just need to share with nature, to just put out, to express myself this way. So then I was hiking. I don't even know where I'm going. Is that a hill? Is that a village? It's at a certain place. It takes about an hour and a half. There's really not marked well, but I'm gonna go anyway. So I found this wooden lodge, I took a moment to rest, to take a break, to meditate a bit, and to record this message. So, now, to the very bottom of the thing. Many people have been already asking me if I'm going to do mountain retreats, sacred mountain gatherings. And just recently, this person said to me, I thought you forgot about it. And I said, how can I forget about my own heart desire? I mean, come on, it's in my heart. But first of all, yeah, I want to thank you, everybody who's been encouraging me, because this is a part of my soul purpose and my path, what I'm supposed to do here, aside from sharing Ascension updates, messages. And the thing is, it's so close to me, but still, it's like, when you're trying to reach something, and there's butterflies flying around me right now. When they say that when you try to catch a butterfly, you will never catch it, but when you just rest still or you might meditate, it will fly on you, and that happens to me so many times. Can't even count on it. I mean, the thing is, what I want to say here is that there's a lot of people giving me these messages and signs lately about this, and this is what I'm probably going to be doing sooner or later. But the thing is, as you know, I'm transitioning myself in my personal life, and I gotta move to the location first. I gotta be there in the sacred space, and now let me explain why this is important. As a pillar of light, and this is my purpose here, my main purpose besides of everything that I do, that I choose to do on earth, is I work with the energy, with the ley lines, with the grid, with the vortices, usually work as an activator. That's why I've been climbing so many mountains all over the area. I wasn't just, choosing a particular spot and doing it there. For example, if I'd be living somewhere and I'd be only exploring that part of the mountains, I was actually exploring the entire mountain region here in Slovenia, especially for the last couple of years when I really started waking up and loving this and finding this as part of my purpose. I didn't always know why, but mountains have stripped me to the core. They have given me a lot of initiations and pushed me to my soul growth and a lot of divine remembrance. And a lot of times I was in situations that a lot of people would quit. They'd say, I never go again. Because, yeah, I've chosen quite some difficult routes and things like that, and some irresponsible choices too. When I climb somewhere and there's no route, I'm like, I'm gonna get down there now. But I always manage, to breathe, to feel oneness with nature, with the mountain. You're not separate from it, and you had to feel oneness with it. And I just had so many moments, and I had so many moments of beautiful sensing my intuition and then following it, and everything just lining up and all of it. So why this is so important is I feel mountains are initiating us into this deep core of our being. They can offer a lot of this. They free you, actually. They really free you to be you. When I was younger, I used to have all these rituals, and this has to be like this, and it has to be like that. But the more I was climbing mountains, the more free being I'm actually truly becoming, and became so courageous and fearless and powerful. Another thing I would like to share is why it is so important to be located there, because a lot of people do retreats in a way that they travel somewhere and they hold a retreat there, which is all fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Just saying it's not my way. My way is knowing the sacredness of the land there. It's knowing the energy imprints. It's feeling the energies. It's just feeling the nature there. Just feeling that part. Working with elementals, kingdoms, and of course my elvish realms. And this is really important. So in such a huge thing that it's also a huge responsibility in a way. Everything needs to come together. Everything needs to align perfectly. So as I said, first I need to move there myself, which I'm in a process of right now. Then, I need to find a way how this would be organized, how these groupings would come together, and then do it. And, like Nike says, just do it. Yes, it's like everything in my life, sometimes there was, building towards it, and then you felt, I'm done building it. Now is action time, this will be felt. And this is how we all feel it when something just ripe. It just is, And the thing I would like to explain is why I prefer to call these things sacred gatherings as opposed to retreats, which is a fine word, it's a nice word. I say it myself too when I go take an unplugging trip, which I call a retreat into the mountain space. To just hang out and just be with myself, which is I really feel guided to do lately. Just want to be myself in this space. Because a lot of times when I went with other people, it was just not the same. Not an energy match. And it's always so beautifully aligned when I do it myself. For now. That's how it is for now. Everything is always in the now. So the thing is, I want to explain why gatherings is a word that I feel more resonating. It's because it's coming together with a group of individuals that feel they really want to do this. They feel this is serving them, that this is on their soul path. As opposed to retreat being more like a trip when you just, you go somewhere, you retreat, you have fun. This sacred gatherings are not going to be all about just having fun. This is the side effect of it. It's going to be about activation into your core. It's about being totally one and immersed with nature. It's about feeling the imprints. It's working with Gaia's energy grids. It's about light activations. It's about a group of people working together for the greater good, for the highest efforts and devotion to the creation. As opposed to retreats being more like, I don't know, a group of people just getting together, having some bliss out moments and having fun, which is not so much in my interest. The having fun is a part of it, of course. As you know, I'm a very childlike and goofy person myself, but there's great balance in this, I feel. So what I would do would be more like sacred mountain gatherings, and it's a very sacred thing. What a sacredness truly means is when you're fully one with all, when you feel the breath of life through everything you're doing. Everything you do is sacred. You don't just do things without a purpose. Everything is purposeful. Everything is felt deeply. That's what the sacredness truly means. When you melt into things, you just merge with them. And this is how I feel in the mountains. So I can share this. This is a part of my gifts here. And especially, maybe for those people who don't have mountains in their own sacred spaces, who don't have this. And maybe could just have the benefit here in such a way. And maybe I would be the one, guiding you in such a space and getting you acquainted with it and how the energy is different here. As I've said many times, the mountains are all about the eternal energy. They are vortices of light. Everything gets anchored through first, that's why they're so tall. And I remember reading a book from Terry Pratchett. It's one of the Discworld series. It was the first book, I think. The image and the symbolism there was how gods were actually on the top of the mountain, which was in the middle of the world, which was actually a disc, a rotating disc. And the gods were on top of the mountains, and they were just playing dice. So everybody below were just following these instructions, kind of like representing this divine plan that's always unfolding. And it is true, and you can really feel it deeply in the mountains. So what else am I to say? Very much it's important. How I feel in the mountains is when I go climb a certain route, I like to return a circular way. Like I like to make a round trip. Because that's the way you make a circle. You kind of make the sacredness. You create a journey and then you finish it. And you go along the spiral, see? So it's all about the sacredness and the circles and just breathing that life that we are here to live. And knowing how it is to be in unity. Not just saying we're all one, but really feeling unity in all ways. And when I'm in the mountains, I'm like completely free. Totally myself. There's always tiny things happening, miracles, and how nature is teaching me to be humble, to be fully myself, to be fearless, to be observant, to just go with the flow. Yesterday I thought I'm going to sleep there. I did the first half of the night, then I had to relocate. It's very much shifting. So if these gatherings would take place, they wouldn't just be, like, oh, wow, I feel a lot of initiations would occur, a lot of triggering, a lot of depth of feeling, and this is the purpose of it, because when you go through all of that, you just become brand new, you purify, you remember yourself, and when you're in mountains, a lot of divine remembrance gets channeled through you. That's what's happening for me. I actually get activated into the mountains, and then I bring this awareness and knowing back into the valley, down to the valley, and I share it with the rest of you guys. That's how it is in me. So as a sacred pillar of light, like I said, it's very important we were always kind of guided to not relocate so much, like gypsies travel the world. I do take trips, but these are more short-based trips to the mountains, and you work with energy because you gotta be like a sacred space, a vortex there. You're just holding the sacred space there. A lot of people don't know what it means to hold a space. Well, you gotta experience it. When you will be in that space, a lot of times you will be shifting weather. For example, yesterday was not such a nice weather. I went anyway. Well, the weather forecast was how it is today, but it wasn't this way. So all along that I was going, it's like wherever I was, there was sun penetrating through the clouds, and I'm thinking, okay, or either when I started recording video and it started to rain with tiny drops of rain, like I would get wet. I'm like, okay, Spirit is telling me not record now, it's not the perfect time and place, just go ahead, move on. And when I did, it stopped raining. So when you become this observant being in nature, you just understand how it is to flow with life, how it is to be in that moment. Mountains really teach that. And like I said, to be humble, to be observant, to be teachable. And then it all added up. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and this is why it is so important, I think, to understand that these things take divine timing, divine order to unfold. So we will wait for the right moment, I would say. And to conclude this video, I would just like to close my eyes now for a second and just ask if we are to receive any special messages, from creation and all life right now. And this is what we would be doing. We'd be sitting in circles as well, putting through whatever, needed to come through us at that time and space. Because when we gather in groups, it's that much more sacred. When I'm alone, it's just me. I might be a powerful being, but it's still just me. When we are together, we amplify. So I feel this would be more like gathering together of the people who are serving the same higher sacred service purpose. Yesterday I already received one message, and it was about the outcome of things. For example, one of them was this move. And it came through a beautiful rhyme, like, when I receive angelic or higher guidance, it usually comes in rhymes or poetry or songs. It's very poetic. Or it's also the Elvish realms. And it was something like that the moment we let go of the idea how things are to look like and how they should be, that is when they're actually so much better than we think they would be. It's not coming out in rhyme now, because I'm already trying to access it with the mind. But let me see if there's any special message for us. Why is the mountain sacred space so high with energy and so important now? Yeah, see, my throat is starting to work because I'm getting the messages out. It's like the mountains really carry a higher vibrational, dimensional energy where we can attune to that higher aspect of us, the multidimensional part of us. On that level, many experiences might occur that will trigger us to then embody these higher dimensional aspects of us. And the mountains serve like a gateway. It's not like we shift physically to another dimension, but we feel it. That's why Polona feels so good in the mountains, because she feels her higher being presence. She feels she's one with it, and she's living 1 foot in, 1 foot out in both spaces at the same time. So this is how it can feel. And when one is activated, open, and recipient of that light, they can instantly feel where there's a vortex or a gateway at a certain mountain space. They're not everywhere, although the whole of the mountain land is very activated, very open, because it is channeling through these higher energies first, and then, all water starts running from the mountains first, so all water again gets activated. The crystals of the purifying water get activated there in the mountains first, and then they run through and they run down, and at the end they are finished in the valley, down below. So it was the same as how it was in Atlantis, when the high priests resided in the mountains, and then they shared their knowledge and the ancient and eternal wisdom, the star wisdom, with the rest of the priestesses, and then they carried forth these messages to the people who lived there, who inhabited the planet back then. And now the structure is required to reestablish itself back again in a way. You see, this is how it is meant to be. This is how the structure of life should flow in all ways. It's like a vortex. has its entry point and its ending point, and they're actually always one and the same. And when one is activated as a pillar of light, one understands this, and so they can share it with others. So as many as now become activated into this higher dimensional way of living, in this frequency, they can also then, when they embody it themselves, they can activate others merely by their presence. And because this is amplified when one goes directly to that, either vortex or gateway or whatever one may call it, the process of this embodiment starts to amplify and increase and speed up in a way. And this is what it's important now, because many who have come here to serve and to share and to be the way shower of the new earth, they're really called to do this. And those who will be called to come in such gatherings and to do that sorts of thing, they will know. They will know. They will be called to. All is by the divine plan and the divine decree of the Creator. And all is unfolding perfectly. There's no rush. There's just knowing. And whoever is called to a particular place, this is where they're supposed to be. Like Polona's doing it. And when the group comes together in the sacredness of all life, that is when miracles can be born. And that is when their powers are actually amplified, and they can use this power for the greater good, for the higher good, for the collective good. This is what is most desired right now in these times of the shift. And those who will be called to do that have been activating their codes well enough to now receive this. As you know, we can always go higher and higher, which means more expanded way of being. The higher councils of light are actually also more felt in the mountains, because they can work through more easily with those gateways there. So it is very much in alignment with the new, and that's why a lot of the people in their prophecies have been talking about how life in New Earth will be moving closer to the mountains, will be moving more up there, so to say, and creating this paradise energy flow. This is how it is, and it's happening in stages. It's happening each step of the way, always by the divine plan of perfection. There's many beings of light already serving, and many from the other realms who you can connect to, and you are connected to. And the more consciously it is being done, the easier this flow is established. And that is it for now. Thank you for joining this video and this message, my beloved ones, and may we all serve in the greatest, highest light of the One. Take care. So much mountain love from me to you. Bye. You see, guys, this is where I was before. It's not yet the top, it's above it. And somewhere there I was climbing it, and there's like this climbing route. And yeah, you see it's a bit cloudy, but it was sunny before. Still a nice day. Oh, I went and returned by another road. I like to make round trips, not just because it's better, you know, to to see two different routes, but because you make a circle, and a circle is something sacred, so you actually create a sacred circle. And this is what we would be doing as well together. And light activations, meditations, all of those things. I forgot to say this before because the rain sort of drove me away, but now it's not falling anymore. So you see, you gotta be willing to take risks sometimes. I think it's raining there. Look at how it is there. Do you see? So I'm always, you know, I have to tell you this. Whenever I go somewhere, I always create nice weather. You see how it is now? I mean, gosh, it was nice before. You know, even though there were some clouds, but they kept They kept dissipating while I was walking the hill. So, if you would wish to see the view as it is to the valley, from up above, from the highest mountain peaks, then if you want someone to take you there, and one day it might just be me.